Well, today is Sunday, May 28th, the day before Memorial Day, and we are starting our trip at the base of the Stone Arch Bridge. Directly across from us on the other side of the river is the tail race is going into Schieks Cave. We're on the downtown side right now, and you can kind of see what will sort of end up on the other side of this lovely outfall here. You can see the slight tidal action, the water going in and out there, which we thought was due to the dam being open and closed, but there's no activity, and it's still got a fair amount of tide going in and out there, which is kind of odd. We could enter through here if we wanted. Unfortunately, the water's about 10 feet deep, so what we would call a wet entrance. And we have a little easier way in. We have done it before. We swam in there, but we do have
carp I saw 2 weeks ago.
the very same one. A few bites taken out of it. And we are right underneath the Gold Medal Flower Building, to be soon renovated into very expensive apartments. Now we're a little bit uphill here, and we have a slightly more convenient entrance, namely through that guy right there. One of the disadvantages of this whole location, they're within easy view of the numerous tourists up on the Stone Arch Bridge, so give them something to tell their relatives in Iowa about when they get back. And it is an overcast day, but all forecasts call for it to be dry. Well, as I was saying, the forecast all call for it to be dry, so hopefully that will be the case. And we checked the radar, and there's no sign of rain, so hopefully the heavens will keep their moisture for a couple hours. Okay. Get Greg demonstrating the proper technique here. It's a very heavy lid. There's no drain holes on the top, just one solid piece of iron. And it's a pretty heavy guy there, and not a lot of air coming up this time. Other times we've been here, and depending on the time of year, we get a pretty strong updraft. But the temperatures have kind of equalized between the in and the outside, so not too bad. I'll take a little peek into the darkness. Can't see too much. One of the odd characteristics of this manhole, is that it's brick, and over the years, all hand-laid brick, and over the years it's kind of shifted a little bit. You can see it's got a little bit of a bend to it, which makes it kind of tight. So, pretty much have to bring our stuff in by rope. See Greg up there lowering the first piece down, and I think I'll move the camera so I can catch it. Alright, we are just inside of dropped down the manhole, and we are at a convergence of two tunnels. We have a tunnel on the left. This one goes underneath the Gold Medal Flower Building and eventually ends up pretty much right in front of the Metrodome, so it goes back about 4 blocks or so and ends at a drop shaft. Interestingly enough, there is a trapdoor in the ceiling through which you can get into a old set of tunnels that used to connect between the grain elevators, one of which has been torn down a couple of years ago. Tunnel on the right is the one that we'll be taking, and that one will lead us back towards the underneath of downtown. See now the tide has come out. See the water flowing outwards here, and there's the river towards that way is the river. Not going to get too close to there because there's a drop off, but we should be able to get a shot from standing back over there looking out towards the outside and where we came in. Alright, here's another view here. There's Greg coming from where the manhole was that we entered from. You see the water's not too deep here. It's only about knee deep, but it does drop off closer to the outside. You can see the A little bit of light from outside there. And it's a pretty large tunnel that goes out to the river there. And, see also the fair amount of debris that's gathered in the outfall here. Alright, pretty loud in here. Hopefully this will come through. We've just completed the always arduous trek up about 3 blocks or so through shin-deep water. We're now at a junction point. You see Greg standing up there. On the right, this water coming in is from downtown Minneapolis. There's always this much water in here, even when it's totally dry and has been dry for weeks. So a lot of this is groundwater seepage. Some of it is overflow from the steam plant. And where Greg is standing on the other side of there, though, that's where most of this roar is coming from. We have another river crossing by us here. All of this water here is reasonably clean storm water. The water, though, on the other side, not quite so clean. We'll scamper up there and take a look at that. Well, this pleasant fellow is the North Minneapolis Tunnel. This is carrying all of the sanitary sewage from North Minneapolis, Brooklyn Center, Brooklyn Park, etc. A lot of crap. You can see it kind of passes through a little waterfall there. And there's a rope that we had strung up just in case of any problems. We've got a little ladder going up. And another room up there, which we'll climb up the ladder and check out. See the remains here of a flap valve. They used to keep the water from overflowing, but has long since rotted out. We basically just climbed up that little pitch right there, and you can see this little dam is all that's keeping the sewage from going out into the river. That's not the ladder that dammed. I don't know what is. Now the purpose of this room is to give a place for them to shut off the sewage if we need to repair the tunnel farther downstream. This tunnel eventually goes to Lake Street where it drops under the river and makes its way to Pig's Eye. We have a little side room in here, which we've sort of taken over to be our first base camp on our trek. We usually have our tent set up there in the corner, and our Derpa guides usually they stage over there too, and we get our campfire going. And it's you know, pretty cozy unless you get a storm coming through. There's the ladder that we hauled through here. We didn't end up needing, but we hauled in here nonetheless, just in case. And we'll keep on taking a little walk through here. For lunch or for dinner, so maybe we'll do that. See if they have a sewer special going or not today. But pretty impressive, and boy, that roar is put that fear up drowning in you. Ooh. That loud bang we heard was a car driving over the lid above us, and it made me jump out of my skin. Alright, we just went a little bit up that side passage where the storm water is coming. We have our first obstacle. This is a pretty heavy-duty iron gate. It's a flap valve to help slow the water down a little bit. Pretty heavy, definitely a two-person job. Hopefully our brace is still around here that we use. Or we'll have to fetch a new one if it's gone. We'll pry that door up and leave it in place for us. So it looks like our handy brace that we usually use has disappeared. But no shortage of wood in that other room, so we may have to grab some of that. Alright, we'll get a shot here of Greg doing the limbo. As he comes underneath, we were able to find our brace. It had not been carried off. Don't do that. Boy, that gate come down and snap your ankle off like a French guillotine. Well, maybe not. And we'll kind of pan around here and we'll see where we're at. Nicely labeled. 6th Avenue. We're under 6th Avenue and Washington. How very convenient. Alright, well, we just completed slogging up 4 blocks under Washington Avenue. We're now at 2nd Avenue. Nicely labeled. If we were to continue upstream there, we would hit Marquette and then Nicollet and then finally Hennepin. And at Hennepin is a drop shaft with a ladder. You climb up that ladder and come up on the sidewalk on the corner of Washington and Hennepin. If you're ever there and you see a 6-sided manhole there on the corner, that's on the other side of that is where we would be. Temperature down here is not too bad, and unfortunately these chest waders that we're wearing hold in the heat like wearing a down jacket, so it's pretty warm just trucking down here. But we're probably about halfway there, maybe a little bit more, and we're gonna start walking now underneath 2nd from Washington up to 4th Street. Alright, we've just finished walking. We're just past 5th Street under 2nd Avenue. What you would refer to this area as is a rather significant collapse of the sewer and a big pain in the butt for the city when they have to come down here and fix this. Basically what's happened is that the storm water coming through there has gone through little cracks in the storm sewer and eroded the sand and eventually pushed enough sand out of the way that the floor collapsed, and that brought with it some of the wall. And kind of get an idea just of how deep this is here. Fairly significant area, fairly significant hollowed out area. Now, how does this help us? Well, there just so happens to be a walking size sanitary sewer that runs parallel to this one. And so when this sewer collapsed, it knocked down the wall of the one next to it. And that's the passage we're going to walk through to get us within striking distance of the cave, striking distance of the summit. We'll be back at that North Minneapolis tunnel again that we saw in the room a few minutes ago. Okay, go ahead.
Yeah, well, I've gotten sick several past times I've gone in here. I call tunnel fever for the North Minneapolis Tunnel. Also, it's called Rinker's Revenge, for Andy Rinker, who was the father of the North Minneapolis Tunnel, the architect of it. And what it is 48 hours after you go into the tunnel, you come down with fever and vomiting. And that's why I've decided this time to wear a full-face respirator with solvent cartridges.
Which is very nice for him. Now the rest of us who don't have that, well, we'll just pour out of luck. All right, well, we're here. I apologize for the not having the complete video montage of the trip upriver, but there's just nowhere to stop and get your camera out. That's quite an ordeal. We walked, from the last point we were taping at, we walked a block back to 4th Street, and here we met the North Minneapolis Tunnel, which you see here. We then proceeded to walk upstream about 140 feet or so. This time, it was a lot easier than last time, so we had ropes. Doing this the first time when we set the ropes up on the last trip was, wow, that was quite an adventure. This sanitary that's passing us is about waist deep and very strong current, and you really you basically have to walk sideways and very carefully pick each step so you don't get swept away. But like I say, a little easier this time, so we had the ropes set up already. Although using the respirators, though, that's added a whole nother element. Boy, those things get hot, and hopefully the waders, as you can see, are pretty yucky. Hopefully these waders didn't spring a leak anywhere. That's some pretty nasty stuff. Well, we are at we have a short chamber going up. See the ladders, and up there is Greg at the cave. The cave is up there. You can see this fine ladder that was left by one of our predecessors. Call it the crucifix ladder. Not really necessary because there's pretty good rope rungs, or pretty good rungs in the wall here which we can use. We also left a very strong rope behind to help as a line coming up. So I can kind of go on down this chamber here, and we'll head up and see what's at the top there. Well, here we are at the top of the rung in the infamous Farmers and Mechanics Bank Cave. Here we have ladder rungs. Those ladder rungs go up to a shaft that leads pretty much right in front of Schieks. Right out in the street, 8-sided manhole right in front of Schieks. And we'll go on a little bit more organized of a tour here in a second. We'll kind of peek around and get sort of a look here. Now this is facing towards Schieks, towards the ladder rung there. And so you kind of split off there, and hear running water from the old Minnehaha Falls. We'll go and check out. Temperature in here is not too bad. Probably 70s or so, maybe low 70s. And pleasantly enough, no roaches. We do, however, have plenty of evidence as far as what we're underneath. I think probably the Schieks nightclub uses this. It has a sanitary sewer that drops through this cave, and it's backed up at some point because the floor is littered everywhere with soda straws and also tampon applicators. Yes, very, very pleasant. There's a nice pool of them there. Probably no other place other than underneath a strip joint would you find exactly that kind of Tetris. Now the origin of this cave is a little open to debate. that tunnel that we just went through, the sanitary tunnel, the North Minneapolis tunnel, was built, dug out in the 1890s or so. And shortly thereafter was when this void was discovered. In the 1920s, it was city engineers came down here and installed these pillars to support the ceiling, although you can see now that they're not providing a lot of support anymore, but there's a very famous piece of yellow journalism, wonderful news release from 1929 describing how the city was on the verge of destruction because the whole downtown was built on top of a series of caves and caverns more complex and baffling than those of Kentucky, and that it would have been a catastrophe, an unheard of catastrophe, and that the Nicollet Mall itself, which Minneapolitans take so much pride in, was in danger of being swept underground, never to be seen again. As you can see, the actual cave itself is not quite so impressive, unfortunately. Pretty good cave, but no danger here to the downtown, I don't think. One theory, the two theories explain the origin of the cave. One is that it was a natural cave, a relic of when Minnehaha Falls, when the river retreated upriver to form the falls 10,000 years ago, and that there was a series of underground streams that formed this cave naturally, and the water swept out to the river, and it makes this a natural cave. The other theory, which probably is not as romantic, but maybe just as likely, is that in the 1890s, a well was dug, an artesian well was dug for the northwestern bank, which was right next to the F&M Bank, and that when the pipe was taken up, it was improperly sealed, and so the artesian springs continued to bubble underground, and enough water bubbled through here to dig out the cave, and then it flushed it into the North Minneapolis Tunnel, which would mean that the cave is only it's only less than 100 years old, and was only about 20 or 30 years old at the time that the engineers came in 1930 to brick it up and install these shotcrete walls. We'll take a peek, looking upwards there. There is where Schieks is. If you walk in front of Schieks, right in front of the front door, if you look in the street right next to the sidewalk, you see a six-sided manhole. That's where that ladder runs to. Definitely would be a lot friendlier way to access the cave than what we had to go through, but without the ability to shut down traffic and bring in a winch to lift that sucker up, we're kind of stuck. But as I said, no roaches down here. It's always a blessing. There's, however, in abundance, earthworms. Little earthworms everywhere. Very happy earthworms, apparently, to be living in this stuff. Kind of like spaghetti dinner. A fine collection of soda straws. This may be where the break is in the sewer line. It's pretty nasty stuff. Lots of unpleasantness. And lots of happy worms feasting in there as well. Well, here we have one of the great sights of the cave, what was dubbed by the first people who explored it to be Little Minnehaha Falls. You can see Greg putting some water samples, and according to the authors, the people who mapped it, this was I think quite a bit more active at the time they were down here, but considering that most of downtown has been paved over and the water's brought in the storm sewers like the one that we went through, most of the water supply for the underground in downtown has been shut off, but we still see a fair amount of groundwater coming through here.
Yeah, let's get a temperature reading up here. The full thermometer out here. 19 degrees centigrade.
What does that tell us?
Well, most groundwater around here should be more like 8 degrees centigrade. It tells us there's a strong component of surface water in your ground layers. It's just not normal groundwater.
And we're, how far underground are we? About 60 feet, 50 feet?
Oh, at least, yeah.
Huh.
It's drained down to the floor. There's a spring drain down to the floor drain there.
That's a little man-made improvement there, and see the drain in the floor. Lots more soda straws. You're gonna open up a recycling business for a bar. Here you go. Okay, so this is limestone then on the wall that we're looking at?
This is the so-called zebra flowstone. It's natural. This is probably a manganese deposit with black stuff there, and that's probably just plain calcite. Here you can see the bedding plane where the water comes out. It comes right out of that little bedding plane up there.
Clunk, clunk. Somebody driving overhead. This little thing here that I'm focused in on is survey markers that were put in the roof when this place was surveyed in 1929?
Yep.
1929. And they put these in several areas and then drew straight lines across to do their measuring there all over the place. And this may or may not show up too well on video, but we'll see the map. And we've got it orientated correctly, so we're looking east now. Going off straight that way is pretty much straight east down 4th Street. There's the southern small arm of the cave going off that way. There's the rungs going up to Schieks. So we're actually, yeah, all right.
Well, here we are at pillar number 20. All the pillars have numbers according to the Lawton survey of 1929. And we'll sort of, just to avoid confusion, we'll sort of go around the cave in a clockwise fashion, like that, and see the various sites. So we'll so the first thing we'll do here, I guess, is going up past Little Minnehaha Falls.
And we put the O in awful. Ugh. Imagine that this is probably the Schieks sewer right there.
There's a fair amount of yucky stuff gathered at the bottom of it.
And lots of happy slithery worms.
It's kind of thick too, hard to walk through.
Oh my God.
Fair number of flies and some bubbles.
Now what's this off to the right here, this corner off to the...
They just have this drain on here. I don't specify what. Most of the under drainage in this cave goes out to the North Minneapolis Tunnel. And pan across and get all those shit flies.
Yeah.
You see numerous shit flies in front of the camera at all times. Oh God.
There's Little Minnehaha Falls. We were just at.
Yeah, and see that's just bubbling with buggies.
Fortunately, no roaches, so.
Cool, and this.
Yes, the entire absence of roaches is an anomaly because this cave was famous for roaches. Every time someone came down here, they just said, "Oh my God, the cave is filled with roaches." You know, we haven't found a single one down here, so
Yeah.
I don't know what killed them off.
Perhaps the worms.
Or a giant worm, as it would be. The stench is pretty strong, pretty overwhelming.
And this is noted as a drip basin. As this is, they call it the drip basin on the map. It was here even in 1929. This 1929 map. You see this basin. Oh. There's branching off to the, there's the passage out to the title insurance arm of the cave, which has the, we're going to check that out later. Oh my God, look at those worms. The disgusting filth.
Wow.
Now come up here and see the old timber crib. Oh, here's the wall. We'll just go show them that.
And these little bits of plastic. Not quite sure what these are from. It's just littered with plastic.
Yeah, when Dave Gebhardt of the original Twin Cities Grotto came down here in the 1950s, there was a famous photograph of him standing at this wall shining a flashlight. And they reproduced it in the 1980 convention guidebook, and we're at that wall right now, and as you can see, nothing has changed. There's all kinds of soda straws up here to suggest that it does flood to this depth. It does flood up this high at times.
It was sanitary.
Yes.
Or it did at least once.
A disgusting filth.
And lots more feminine hygiene products.
Yeah, what are those little white rockets? I didn't understand what those are.
Stand by. Okay. Trench system?
Yeah, this is the best place to get a feel for the trenches that have been dug by humans. You see, they show them on the map, but this is obviously not a native feature. We did dug this.
another survey marker post up there. That leads back around to where we were just at. There, so we're still off in a corner. All right.
Well, according to the map, this is according to the 1929 map, this is the Northwest Bank sewer connection.
Don't fall in.
Well, I don't know if they can go in there or not. Yeah, you can see the pipe as it comes out here and run under the floor.
There's also some electric wiring through here too that's it's pretty well corroded away, but there used to be electric lights down here at some point, which is not mentioned in any of the articles. So perhaps the workers installed those when they did the work on the concrete.
All right, we're walking back the way we just came. Behind us,
There's the sewer connection there. Kind of pan around. There's that drain hole that we were on the other side of. And keep on going here.
it's kind of stooped. The walking is. And hot with these clothes on. Opens up a bit in here. There's one of our, there's pillar number 11, Gothic face. If I can get that focus in on that. I don't know if it's going to show up or not. Number 11, 10 feet is what it says.
This is the ML&T Company well wall. Now, the geologists Holberg and Bayer in their famous caves of Minnesota hypothesized that the cave was largely created by maybe like this well itself, or another one back here, an artesian well where the casing broke and then eroded the sandstone all the way from the well hole down to the sewer and created a continuous water pathway, and erosion eventually created this cave. So that's, I guess, the alternate theory of this, how this cave was created. And then there's, of course, Ice Age theory that this cave was created shortly after St. Anthony Falls receded past this point on the riverbanks and lowered the water table so that and created created a gradient for the erosion to occur that way.
When do you think these wells would have been dug? 1860s, 1870s?
No, our well drilling industry around here really got its start like in the 1880s and that sort of thing.
And when was the NMT built? 1895?
They began work on that in 1889, and the first known map of the cave is 1904. So somewhere from 1889 and 1904, this cave was created, if that Holberg and Baer theory is correct. And you can see the well here. It's, actually, there's you probably won't be able to pick it up, but there's quite a humming noise above us. You know, it's a ghostly sort of noise. I suppose that's water going through the well, or the pump in operation or something.
Or the music leaking down from Schieks.
Yeah, I plan to catch a show after this. That's going to change and something.
Ah, who needs to change?
Yeah. Yeah, who needs to change? Look at those boots. Got any worms on them? Oh. There's some of the natural. This is all limestone here. These walls.
Well, I think this is, here's what we have, the limestone ceiling, the Platteville limestone here, and then we have the Glenwood shale.
Ah, very
Look at that
soft.
stuff, how soft it is. And then down here we have the St. Peter, which is coated by a layer of gunite. They went through in the 20s and gunited this whole thing.
Oh, no wonder we can't see the sandstone. Okay. So it is so it is possible that enough water coming through here in 10 years could dig this out if it was soft
Oh yeah,
sandstone.
there have been larger caves eroded in
Quicker times.
in 1869 there was a huge Hennepin Island break.
Yeah.
That eroded an enormous passage in less than 1 day, so it would be nothing unusual.
And there's soda straws even as far back here, so this is flooded out. Even back here it's flooded out with sanitary.
I guess it's sort of a cul-de-sac.
There's another one of those survey posts. All right, we'll turn off the camera here while we backtrack. All right, we're continuing on here. The well we were just looking at was right down there, so we just backed up a little bit. We're at that number 11 pillar again. So this time we're going to go this way. The number 5 pillar. An open area here. There's a manhole right there.
Well, there it is. There it is. Okay, that's what I looked for. Now, this is the manhole into the so-called Northwestern National Bank tunnel, and we're going to find out if there's a passage down there. Let's see, maybe take some doing here. Oh, that seems to be rusted. It's probably put on and then Time of the pharaohs or something. No, that is rusted on there now. Oh, gee. We think there's a passage below the cave. Get into it.
All right, we got it open.
Oh, that's disgusting. It's full of it's absolutely full to the brim with sanitary, apparently.
Well, so much for an easy way out there.
Ugh. Well, so yeah, so much. I think it does go down quite a ways, but we obviously can't get in it.
Not without the scuba gear. All right, we're at the area marked on the map as just being a drain. And yeah, sure is a drain. There's a little drain in the floor. So there must be a, wonder if that connects to that tunnel that the manhole came from.
Yeah, it shows that too.
You can see a fair amount of water seeping in there and some little stalactites there.
Apparently it calls this pier, it says this is pier 23. It says 5 there.
5 on it, yeah.
But it says 23 on the map, so I don't know who to believe.
Huh. There's a very rotted out light fixture. Area where the cement wall was broken through. A lot drier in here, which is nice. Still got a pretty good sanitary smell. There's some sandstone through there. Broken through from that shotcrete stuff. And the ubiquitous feminine hygiene products. Here we have another area where it's broken through. And I think we're back around. There's a Pennington paver brick. And we're back where we came from at the entrance. Boink. Alright, let's see here if this will work on camera. There's our entrance point. Let's see if we can retrace around. We went up like that. There's the wall. We walked around there. And there's the down around like that. There's where the manhole was. And back around again to the beginning.
Yeah, here's our entrance point. And we came around clockwise down to Little Minnehaha Falls here in the drip basin. Then we came around to the down to the Artesian Well at this end. And then we came down here to lift off the manhole, but the tunnel is flooded, so we couldn't enter it, and came back here. Now what I want to do is go off here under the had been the title insurance building, and to try to break out onto a void on top of the 4th Street tunnel here. Apparently there's an extensive network above, a tunnel above the tunnel, and to try to trace that out.
Alright, we're just We just looped around again. We just passed Minnehaha, little Minnehaha Falls, and we didn't go this way before, but it's a little bit of a left arm off. You can see it's pretty nasty, pretty bubbly, reasonably gassy, very buggy, very wormy, very thick to walk through too. But, let's see if we can get back there a little ways. Alright, Greg just disappeared around the corner. Pretty strong, pretty strong smell. Horrendous. Here's this feature is also on the map, the concrete spillway or the concrete drain. Coming down through there. More pillars. More Schieks detritus. A little breakover area around the pillar there. But I think I'm not going to go any further. That looks pretty nasty. Greg thinks he's found the passage on top of the passage. Way back there. But it's a little bit of a crawl to get to. And don't think I'm going to risk the camera equipment with that yet. Well, this concludes our trip to the F&M Bank Cave. Might get some more shots on the way back, but maybe not. It's always nice to just get the hell out of here, too. Be back where the air doesn't smell too much like sewage, at least.
You want to decon that camera before we get going. There's some hydrogen peroxide here.
Yeah, we could probably drink the whole bottle of that.
I probably should.
Yeah.
Make sure my hands are decontaminated.
And so we gotta go back down the NMT, but it's always easier downstream than upstream. Not fighting the current, just gotta make sure you don't get swept away.
Yeah.
All right. Well, maybe we'll shoot some more on the way out, maybe not.